Thank you, Jim, and thank you very much for coming, and sorry for starting a bit earlier. They actually called me down there, that's why I kicked it off. But I'll just go on from where I was, and what I want to say is that I don't believe the government have actually learnt or listened at all, because in the week after the election, the spin was at full pace. And the spin was there because the government said that Family First, Liberals and other members of Parliament had pulled out a clause so that it was all right for them to be fraudulent and deceitful and dishonest. Well, the fact is we pulled out a clause that was going to stop democracy from scorecarding candidates and parties. That's all we called out, all we pulled out. And 112 subsection B is still there, and that says that they shouldn't do this as of the 31st of January, but we're checking on the legalities there. It does look like they may get through on a technicality. And of course, they made sure that they had a fair chance of getting through on a technicality, because they would have had all their biggest legal eagles from across the state checking to see that the deceit was okay. But I just want to say that if the intent of this government was to stop impersonating, or as the legal people say, passing off as another party by wearing T-shirts and making voters think that those volunteers were for Family First when they were for Labor, then why did they do it? They didn't need a law if they thought it was wrong. All they needed was some basic honesty. That's all they needed, and there's no basic honesty there. None whatsoever. But I'll tell you what, I say to the Rand government, you'll never get away with it again. And the Premier said he's going to bring legislation in to stop it. Well, Mr. Premier, no way are we going to have your legislation in this Parliament. My colleagues and I will bring our legislation in. And I'm putting on notice now that I'll be bringing it on the first sitting day. Family First will introduce amendments to the Electoral Amendment Bill, and it'll be titled Restoring Trust on Polling Day. And that's what the South Australian community want. They want trust restored. And I also say, given that the Premier knew nothing about this, what is he doing to all the people in the Labor Party that did know about it? What is he doing to all the members of Parliament now that agreed to have this happen? And I also asked the government, who paid for the people that they flew in from as far away as Queensland to man these booths? Who paid for it? We deserve an answer. The bottom line is that we say to the government today, you might have slipped over the line, but the absolute majority of people didn't want your deceit anymore, didn't want your spin, and didn't want the way you've governed for the last 8 years. They wanted a new chance. Well, that may or may not be the chance yet. But I promise that every member of Parliament in South Australia, because I've talked to many of them, Anne Bressington, Dennis Hood, other crossbench members, will not give this government a honeymoon. And we say to the Rand government, if you get back in, we look forward to the first sitting day, because the pressure's going to be on you 24/7 for 4 years, and the people will remember in 2014. Mark my words, they will remember. Thank you.